Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannon's Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.
Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Classic Restos. Of course, not possible without the continued support of my major sponsors. And as you know, when it comes time for the very best in classic vehicle, home and contents insurance, an opportunity to sign up to become a member of the Shannon's Club. It's also a place to list your car club or search for one there. And the finest in oils and coolants, where the Penrite Technical Assistance line can help you 7 days a week. Go to classicrestos.com.au for their contact information. And on today's show, as a part of my 7-week stay in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, filming the Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, in between times, I'm always looking for something different to bring you on Classic Restos. Now today's show will leave you speechless. A short drive from Carlisle out through the cornfields, and we find this, of all things, a Rolls Royce Museum. Welcome to the Rolls Royce Owners Club. It was founded in May of 1951. The first membership directory listed 212 members, and now there are over 8,000 members worldwide. This has been the location since 1976. The club moved to its present location, which serves as host to numerous technical workshops and seminars. In 2004, the RROC completely renovated the headquarters and allowed the Rolls-Royce Foundation to construct its museum on the property. The museum space now totals 16,000 square feet. The club has always welcomed Bentleys and their owners, and it should be noted that they are the only club to welcome all eras of Rolls-Royce and Bentley motorcars. When it comes to a world-famous mark of machine, like it or not, the Rolls-Royce has claimed the pinnacle of respect. It's like the Boeing of jets, and even they use Rolls-Royce engines. The Rolls-Royce, the car that only very wealthy people can afford, the untouchable car. The car that most people never get to see much on the street, let alone ride in one or even purchase. The Rolls-Royce typifies stance. The elegant lines and sculptured beauty may only appeal to a narrow market, but that market is affluent, and those people enjoy the comfort that only a big, heavy car can provide. In most cases, over 6,000 pounds of it. An effortless ride from a lazy Rolls-Royce enhanced V8 engine and a silky smooth automatic transmission that helps propel these cars along. It's time now to go and see some of the best of the British here in the United States. We're surrounded by sheds. It's time now to go take a closer look. What an extraordinary opportunity to come here today to the Rolls Royce Museum. How are you, Stephanie?
Good, Fletch. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, apparently you're a little wealth of knowledge, right?
A little.
That's good. Well, let's start the ball rolling with this 1934 Phantom. Now, tell us the story. What's the deal? How come it's a rolling chassis?
This is actually how Rolls-Royce were originally sold back in the early start of the Rolls-Royce back in the 20s and 30s. And when you got a Rolls-Royce, is actually what you got. Disappointing? No. That is how the history was. You got this, and then you would select a coach builder, and then you would pick out details that you wanted. And that opened up the opportunity for the cars to be very unique. No two Rolls-Royce are alike because they are hand-built and by the different coach builders. So
I think it's amazing the amount of body styles. Well, in terms of the options, as you said, there was no two Rolls-Royce the same from this era.
They were hand-built. Yep, they were. The fenders were stretched out on English wheels. Just everything was hand-built at this stage back in the 20s and 30s. And they actually continued that coach building even up into the 60s. One of our cars is a 61, and that car is actually coach built. Coach building was not unique, absolutely, to the Rolls-Royce, but Rolls-Royce did it for a very long time, which does make it unique.
Is there such a thing with Rolls-Royce as a basic model? And then there's an optioned up model, or, I mean, they're top of the mark all the way through, but is there such a thing as a priced down model?
When they did start building the bodies in the factories, there were, basic basic steel body, models but usually if you're paying for a Rolls Royce, you're going to want leather, extra wood, picnic tables, whatever you want. And that's how it was.
Yeah. It's almost back in the day that if somebody was wealthy enough, but they just fell short by that $2,000 or $3,000, they just couldn't quite get the options that they wanted, but at least they got their Rolls Royce.
That's true. Yep. This is our Springfield Phantom, and a lot of people don't know this, but Rolls Royce actually had a factory here in the United States from 1921 to 1931. So this is a car that was produced in the United States in Springfield, Massachusetts. The demand for Rolls Royce back in the 20s was so great that they decided to open up a factory here. However, the Depression hit and we didn't open up afterwards. So that is what this car is. This car is built in Springfield, and it's a little bit unique from the Derby Phantoms, different wheels, different headlights and things like that. Rolls-Royce didn't build cars during the wars, but after the wars they did pick up again building cars, and that is when they actually started building the bodies into factories, and they were building them in England and shipping them over. But the demand was still high for the cars.
Gotta love the era, 1929, the end of the Roaring Twenties, the running boards, the windswept fenders, the wire wheels. I mean, opulence at its greatest. Also noticed with this car too, 80,000 miles, which would be pretty fair to say that's bang on original.
Yep, definitely, yeah.
Rolls Royce Foundation is the North American repository for technical and historical data for Rolls Royce and Bentley motor cars. We cover the Americas. We have a sister organization, which is the Rolls Royce Owners Club, and the Rolls Royce Owners Club has sister organizations in Britain, the Rolls Royce Enthusiast Club, and in Australia, the Australian Rolls Royce Owners Club. Our main purpose is to serve our members by providing technical research, maintaining a technical library as well as a historical reference library. We also deal in parts. We survive pretty much by donations, being a charitable organization. People give us cars, they give us parts. I think Rolls-Royce motor cars are unique in the world, along with Bentley, and that they're basically handmade cars. In America, we're so used to cars rolling off assembly lines in the thousands a week, and when you take a car that takes 8 months to build and it's done almost by hand from start to finish, you end up with a product that's not comparable to anything else that's on the road. If you'd like to visit the foundation, we're located in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, but for those of you who don't get here very often, we have a website. It's www.rollsroycefoundation, all one word, .org.
For the best in classic vehicle, home and contents insurance, an opportunity to sign up to become a member of the Shannon's Club. You can list your car club there. You can search for a car club there. And the finest in oils and coolants, where the Penrite Technical Assistance team is there to help you 7 days a week. Go to classicrestos.com.au for more contact information. I hope you're enjoying the Rolls Royces on today's show. Back with more right after this. Welcome back on today's show. How good is this? Rolls Royce Museum, short drive from Carlisle, out through the countryside. Here we are. If you've just joined today's show, we have Stephanie. How are you?
Good. How are you, Fletch?
Good. Are you having fun?
I am, always, every day.
Yeah, you're not nervous with the TV interview?
Nope, we're good.
You are going good. All right, we've got a 1935, a Bentley, a Hooper body. Tell us about this car. It's stunning.
Yep. In 1933 is when Rolls Royce acquired Bentley. W.L. Bentley was into racing. He made race cars and fell on some financial hard times, and that's when Rolls Royce picked up the Bentley marque, and they kept them until 2002. The Bentleys were for the driver market. They were sportier, and then the Rolls Royce were more aimed for the chauffeured market. And this is an awesome example of the cars that came out of the Bentleys of that era. It's a 35, so it's a beautiful car. It's our crown jewel of our collection.
Yeah, like I said, it is stunning. Interesting between the Bentley and the Rolls Royce. Even today, in 2014, they're two cars that are just so similar, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were pretty much identical up into the 70s and up into even in the 90s. They were pretty much identical.
It's kind of like Buick and Cadillac.
Yep, just different girls.
Yeah. Okay, we look at the little plate there with information at the front there and the Perspex holder. 20/25 horsepower. Now, this is a 3.5 litre engine that can, in a straight line, get this old girl up to around 90 miles an hour. 25 horsepower ain't going to do that. So what's going on there?
Nope. They used fuzzy math to make the taxes lower for the buyers in the UK. So they were taxed according to horsepower. So some kind of unique math equation they came up with 2025 as being their. And there was also other horsepowers. They called them 40, 50s, and 20 horsepowers, even though they actually weren't 20 horsepower cars.
I heard about that in the UK. The more horsepower you had, the higher your tax. So Rolls-Royce, in fact, wound the numbers back to look after their customers.
But there was actually legitimate math behind it.
Yeah, they just took about 100 horsepower off.
Yep.
Yeah, that's easy. Again, we look at the opulence of this vehicle. I mean, have a look at it. The size of the headlights. We've got that Rolls Royce grille that is just so world famous. It has just been there forever. Even Bentley, the same stance. Rolls, Bentley, big grille, all the shiny stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the Bentleys actually have a little bit of a softer grille to them, and there's more streamlined. Like I said, for the driver market, they came from the sporty racing background.
Yeah,
so
it gets back to putting it into a corner a little bit harder.
Yep, absolutely.
We look at this particular car here. The interior is absolutely gorgeous.
Spectacular with suicide doors. I love that.
Being the Bentley too, it's interesting because, as Stephanie is alluding to about being sporty, it even sits lower too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's just, again, back to the sports car. Yeah. The silent sports cars, what they were called.
Stephanie, too many cars in here. Moving on through, what will be next?
We'll go into the 40s and look at the Rolls Royce Wraith.
All right. Let's go to the 40s.
Okay, Fletch, what we have here is a 1946 Silver Wraith. If you notice the names, we have Phantom, we have Ghost, we have Wraith, and we move into Clouds. These are all silent names, and that was just indicative of the silent ride and just to support the reputation that Rolls Royce was going after. This car is a beautiful example of the coach build work that was still taking place with Rolls Royce back in the 40s and up to the 50s. This is a Freestone Webb coach built car, and the coach builders are usually on a plate down in the door sill there. This is actually a limousine, so it has a divider glass window, a sunroof, which I think is a really cool unique characteristic of these cars. This particular car, this one was coach built for a wealthy family, and there's actually a cutout on the roof that made room for the top hats and the high hairstyles. So when they were going to social events and things of that nature, they would take this car. And again, this is a 46, so this is just to show that Rolls-Royce was still doing coach-built cars and in the 40s, and they did it up until the 60s. Another distinct feature of the Wraith here is this headlight that actually turns with the steering wheels. And this is actually 10 years before the Tucker Torpedo, which was known for the rotating headlight there. But this is such a gorgeous car. This is a very beautiful example of the opulence of the era. I love the scaling of the headlights and the curvy fenders, and they even go to the extent of hiding 2 spare tires. Fletch, another unique characteristic about our museum, and particularly this Wraith, is that all of our pieces are rolling. We have a group called the Friends of the Foundation that come in every third Saturday, and they come in, they do maintenance in the cars and take care of them for us. In addition, all of our cars in our museum, we take them out to different events. And this car in particular, we take to a lot of events, to different various concourse shows. And I think that's just spectacular for the age of the cars that, you know, we take them out and we drive them on the roads. And we take a big caravan out and drive, you know, 5 Rolls Royce going down the road. So, you know, being that this car is a 46, it's just spectacular to see this thing on the road. You know, not a lot of museums can afford to take their cars out, but all of our cars do. Okay, Fletch, we looked at the 46, now we're going to look at the 61. And there's quite a big span of time, an era between these two that is big for Rolls-Royce. Between that time period, Rolls-Royce started building bodies. However, much of the interior work was still coach-built, and you could get a coach-built car still much beyond those years as well. So at this time, they started to incorporate a dramatic design change in incorporating the headlights into the body. And like I said, the era, at this point in time, Rolls-Royce was building the bodies. However, this particular car, this 61, is called a Phantom 5. This particular car is still coach-built. The factory did not have capabilities to make a long wheelbase car. So this particular car is still coach-built. However, at this period in time, they were also building cars in a factory. This is also a limousine with a divider. Just a lot of, you know, beautiful woodwork, unique work that the original owners desired. This was the last, almost the last coach-built car year for Rolls-Royce, being a 61, which is just pretty unheard of. Coach builders weren't really around in the 60s. Fletch, another unique quality of this car, being that it is coach-built and long wheelbase, is the suicide doors in the rear, which just allowed for more room. And just look at the space in there. That is a lot of space in the back. There's picnic tables, there's a clock. There's actually electronics too in there that were ahead of its time. Fletch, this button right here is for power window. Still working after so many years, from 1961. Well, Fletch, synonymous with Rolls-Royce is the luxury of the experience of driving. It really was an experience to drive one of these cars and to ride in them. Just look how the curvature of the leather seat there, and look how the wood on this. I mean, just how thick the wood is, and wood on every inch. Every inch of the dash is covered in wood. Fletch, even look on the windshield, how the wood goes up the side and over the top, and even up around the top of the door frame there. The wood just is fantastic in this car. Again, it's an excellent example of a coach-built car.
Bookings are now being taken for Fletch Tours 2015. If you can see yourself travelling to the beautiful Carlisle, Pennsylvania, taking in some of the largest car events in the world, Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals, along with the Woodward Dream Cruise in the Motown city of Detroit and its region, go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more contact information. Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back. This is an all-alloy body shell, a 2003 Rolls Royce. And when you get close and you do a walk around, you get a better appreciation as to why these cars are over $1 million to purchase. This particular car is on permanent loan from the Rolls-Royce Motor Company. The construction is full alloy for the Rolls-Royce Phantoms only, and obviously the weight factor is drastically reduced. The frame is an absolute work of art, featuring 450 welds by hand, along with design and fabrication that stands unsurpassed. From back to front, including the twin firewall, this vehicle is truly amazing. Moving on from that incredible alloy frame car to this incredible car. Stephanie, I have never seen anything like this before. And when you think of a farm truck or a utility or a pickup, the brand of Rolls Royce doesn't always come to mind.
Not really, no. This is just an example of what was done to some of the Rolls Royce Phantom cars during the war when they couldn't get gas rations for the car. You could get gas rations for your farm truck. So, being sneaky, they would rebody them as trucks during the war, and then a lot of them were rebodied. Most of them were rebodied afterwards back to cars. So, this isn't the actual case with this car, but it's a good example of what one would have looked like of that era.
I mean, talk about 5-star here. I mean, a Rolls Royce pickup. I mean, this would, there couldn't be many left on the planet, surely.
Actually, we have yet to find one still intact, but there's plenty of pictures. So, if anyone has an intact Rolls Royce truck, bring it over to us. We'll take it.
Oh, yeah, and you'll just pick their stock up of them by 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to double overnight. The features of this are incredible. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, we still retain the lovely fenders and the running board.
The scaling of the bed to the rest of the car is spectacular.
I've got to say, with all due respect, and I hope I don't get hit round the head for this, it's almost like a Model A Ford on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I like it.
Good, I got away with that. Inside, we still have the opulence. We have the lovely dashboard, the interior, and just psychologically, you're thinking out the back is a tray. It's just amazing.
Yep, it's beautiful though. It has a wood bottom to it, so it is a little bit Rolls Royce classy. So
what's going to happen to this vehicle? Stay here with you.
I wish. I hope. I want to drive it.